Only a few miles from Niagara Falls, one of the world's great natural wonders, is one of the wonders of the music world, the North Tonawanda, New York plant of the Rudolph Wurlitzer Company. It is one of the largest, brightest, cleanest, most modern plants in American industry. Yet it bears a name famous in music for over 200 years. Way back in 1659, only 40 years after the Pilgrims landed here, Nicholas Wurlitzer was a lute maker in Saxony. And historians tell us in 1700, Hans Adam Wurlitzer was awarded one of the Oscars of his day, the title of Master Violin Maker by the Saxon Guild. It was in 1853 when Rudolph Wurlitzer came to America, and in 1856 founded the Rudolph Wurlitzer Company. 5 years later, he was building pianos and selling drums and bugles to the armies in the Civil War. Next came the gay 90s, and they found Wurlitzer selling the Regina music box with coin attachment. It was followed in 1899 with coin-operated pianos, and in succeeding years by orchestrions and automatic harps. In 1909, Wurlitzer built its first piano for home use, is now the world's largest manufacturer of pianos, all sold under one name. In 1910, Wurlitzer built the first thousands of mighty Wurlitzer pipe organs that thrilled millions of listeners all over the world. 22 years later, Wurlitzer accordions were placed on the market. And 1 year after that, the first Wurlitzer coin-operated phonograph was produced in the North Tonawanda plant. And finally, in 1945, Wurlitzer announced the Wurlitzer organ, a marvel of electronic science, hailed by organists and laymen alike as music's richest voice. With a colorful, tuneful history like that, it's no wonder that Wurlitzer means music to millions. Nor is it any wonder that Wurlitzer's long experience is reflected in instruments whose musical quality is as glorious and inspiring as this great cataract, located a scant few miles from the North Tonawanda plant. Let's look down on this vast Wurlitzer plant, where thousands of skilled craftsmen turn wood, metal, and plastics into musical fun for everyone. And quite a plant it is, as you can see. Actually, it's nearly half a mile long, occupies a site of 43.5 acres, is served by 3 railroad sidings, and incidentally, adjoining the site is a substantial acreage made available to employees free of charge for vegetable gardening every summer. Here we are approaching the plant from the center drive, a far cry from the usual factory site. Green lawns, great hedges, and a profusion of flowers. Pretty hard to imagine anything but a quality product coming out of a plant like this. And now let's step into the plant and see just what does go into a new Wurlitzer, whether a phonograph, a wall box, or a remote control speaker. First stop, a word of greeting from Wurlitzer's Vice President and Plant Manager, Carl Johnson.
Welcome to the Wurlitzer plant, home of the celebrated Wurlitzer coin-operated phonograph, or jukebox, as it is so fondly known throughout music-loving America. The first things that go into a Wurlitzer are not wood, plastic, or metal. They are inspirations of men of skill, men of long experience, of vision, the executive staff of Wurlitzer's North Tonawanda plant.
Yes, these are the men whose combined judgment has consistently conceived the ultimate in coin-operated phonograph and auxiliary equipment. And how do they achieve this ultimate? Through inspirations and ideas, conferences and more conferences, brain sweat and blueprints, tearing up and doing over, days of it, weeks of it, months of it. For a new Wurlitzer must be right, And it will be right only when all concerned agree that this is it. Once the executive staff renders its decisions on the desired features of the new phonograph, from its styling to its construction, and from its tone to its price, engineering takes over. What was once only a gleam in someone's eye begins to have form and shape and beauty. Behind locked doors, the general styling and design of the phonograph is plotted by men who deal in eye appeal, which is play appeal, which is one reason why Wurlitzers make more money for those who own and operate them. Over and over again, Wurlitzer designers have pioneered by introducing new materials and ideas into phonograph construction. There's a word that covers all this, and that word is leadership. Close by the design room, development engineers supervise the embryonic stages of the new instrument's engineering features as they first appear on drafting boards. These are the men whose know-how and can-do are basically responsible for mechanical quality and performance that have won Wurlitzer leadership by a margin seldom enjoyed in any industry by any single manufacturer. The first blueprints are ready for the metal model shop, where handmade models are produced to prove the efficiency of the mechanical components of the new phonograph. Simultaneously, the wood model shop receives blueprints of the cabinet from the designers. Skilled craftsmen construct a hand-built model of the case. And once the model shops have worked their magic, every component part is life-tested to prove that it has been properly engineered. Simultaneously with these tests, the chemical laboratory technicians test every material that will make up this instrument for such things as shrinkage, color, tensile strength, durability, and every other desirable property that they should and must have. A quality product, did you say? Well, you can say that again, and still again, for that's the way Wurlitzer builds them. And now, the breathless moment. The new beauty makes its bow before the full executive staff. This is the Board of Review. Come on, you critics. Look at it. Listen to it. Probe into its innards. Is this newcomer fit to bear the Wurlitzer name? The inspection is rigorous. These men are relentless. Does it get the nod? It does. It's ready for production. Full speed ahead, this machine spews out its blueprints, 300,000 square feet of them, 13 miles of them, 2,874 drawings, and 48 copies of each. Blueprints to the works manager. Blueprints to the assistant works manager. Blueprints to the chief inspector. Blueprints to the controller. Blueprints to the director of purchase. Blueprints to the chief test engineer. From the far corners of the continent come veneers and lumber to feed the gigantic needs of Wurlitzer's cabinet shops. 10 million feet of it a year. Every foot of it is the pick of Appalachian, Adirondack, and Canadian forests. All of it, the highest grade hardwood on the market. At Wurlitzer's own siding, carloads of veneer are unloaded and moved to storage. Lumber, too, is unloaded, stacked, and hauled. This used to be back-breaking work. Then somebody used his head instead of his back. And now it's all done mechanically. There are 6 huge dry kilns handling 200,000 feet of lumber at a time. Here comes a load that will go into one of these kilns. It will be dried and cured with temperature and humidity controlled from this panel to a fraction of a degree. No wonder Wurlitzer phonograph cabinets don't warp, buckle, or break out at the seams. They are really made right. Wurlitzer's woodworking department. You can scarcely see from one end to the other, but you can see that it is enormous. Believe me, a walk around this layout leaves you ready for a rest. It also leaves you thoroughly impressed that Wurlitzer knows its woodworking all the way from the forest primeval to the finished phonograph. At one end of this tremendous wood mill, thousands and thousands of boards are cut to rough length after leaving the dry kiln. Conveyor belts catch and carry away the waste wood. It's burned to generate steam and electric power used to run the plant. Clever? Say, these boys think of everything. Here's one for the book, too. A modern, ultra-high-frequency gluing process. Does in 70 seconds what used to take 4 hours. These glued joints are as strong as the lumber itself. Wurlitzer makes its own plywood, too. There's a do-it-yourself and you'll know it's done right philosophy all through this plant. Wurlitzer veneers are the finest money can buy. Grain figurations are carefully matched to produce the rich appearance that characterizes all Wurlitzer cabinet work. Curving and shaping plywood is a skill in itself. Wurlitzer does it the modern way. Air is evacuated from rubber bags. Vacuum is created. And this vacuumatic pressure forces the plywood into shapes that will hold forever. All through this woodworking wonderland, you will find equipment that surpasses the efforts of the finest old European craftsmen. The skill of Wurlitzer workers is something to see as they manipulate these modern machines and precision tools. Despite the fact that all work is with wood, there's no sawdust in the air or underfoot. Every bit is sucked up by an air filtering and conditioning system. It's a clean plant, a healthful plant, a pleasant plant to work in. Here's a multiple spindle borer, drilling holes accurate to the 1,000th of an inch. And here's a sander, laying the first foundation of the beautiful finish that helps give every Wurlitzer cabinet play-producing eye appeal. Good men must have good tools, kept at a high pitch of perfection. Here's where it's done. The tool sharpening room. Machines almost human in their operation. Machines more than human in the accuracy they attain. Here, as everywhere, the work must be right. Did I say right? It better be. More than 250 inspectors are around to see that it is. These hawkshaws are always on the watch for flaws. When they find one, Out goes that part, rejected, scrapped, junked in the interests of Wurlitzer quality. Does all this precision equipment and inspection pay off? You bet it does, and cabinet assembly proves it. Here you see the phonograph cabinet taking shape. Side assembly, top assembly, front assembly. No errors made along the line, or this cabinet would never have gone together as quickly or neatly as you see it being assembled here. Final inspection in the white, this time by a master craftsman. To him, there is no compromise with quality. Either it is or it isn't, and it doesn't take him long to decide. Now ready for the first undercoating. It's sprayed on in a water wash booth. No noxious fumes, no danger of fire, no pains spared to protect both Wurlitzer workmen and Wurlitzer quality. Next, the second foundation is laid for the final cabinet finish. Believe it or not, here, worker skill and experience count more than on any previous operations we have pictured. Comes the final coat, each in turn applied by experts whose skill enables them to maintain an absolutely uniform film thickness. No pains are spared here or elsewhere to maintain Wurlitzer's high quality standards. Long lines of phonographs, suspended on a monorail conveyor, move through the finishing department. And here's an interesting feature. The fillers and lacquers are pumped from Wurlitzer's laboratory mixing vats through pipelines to the points where they are applied. Just one more step to assure uniform quality. Incidentally, all fillers and lacquers used in this plant are made to Wurlitzer formulas created by Wurlitzer chemists in Wurlitzer's own laboratories. All finishes must be cold resistant, heat resistant, and withstand direct contact with liquids. Quite an order. Yet it's an order that is filled by skilled Wurlitzer chemists. And now for a quick peek into the plastics department. Wurlitzer pioneered the use of plastics for decorative purposes. No one knows more about how to work them, shape them, form them, or use them than Wurlitzer.